Hello UCE families and friends once again. Welcome to week 2 of our theme commitment for this month. In our Soulful Home packet this week we focus on 2 segments, at play and from the mailbox. But first I'm going to light my chalice. Starting with at play, there are 2 suggestions in this month's packet. The first one is a commitment to gratitude. You probably have heard that science has shown that when we are grateful and show gratitude, we feel happier and enjoy life a little bit more. So this month, the idea is to share your gratitudes. You'll need a lot of scrap paper or construction paper because in the end you're going to make a paper chain. The idea is to have little strips of paper in a jar or a basket, and each day each person in the family writes something that they were grateful for that day. And then you put it in another jar or basket and save it for the end of the month. Then at the end of the month, you take all those strips of paper out of the jar and create a paper chain to display and hang. You can even make it a friendly competition in the family and divide the strips in half and the family into 2 teams and see who can make a paper chain fastest out of their strips of paper. Another way to do a gratitude exercise is this. My daughter made this for me. It's a gratitude jar. And inside there are popsicle sticks. And the idea is you write something on a popsicle stick that you are grateful for. Like for me, people watching. One of my favorites, chocolate shakes at a restaurant near my house. They have the best homemade chocolate shakes. Walking the labyrinth, lavender scented candles, and so on. So you can create your own little jar with popsicle sticks and write things that you are grateful for. And then whenever you're feeling a little down on yourself, you just open up your jar and read a few, and that reminds you of the things that you are grateful for and lifts your spirits. The second activity in our packet for At Play is called Committing to Your Character. And this is a little challenging for some people. The idea is that when you try something new, our inclination at times is to want it to be absolutely perfect. The first time, of course, and with everything we try. And this is called perfectionism. I am very guilty of perfectionism, I must admit. Well, perfectionism is a character of white supremacy culture. And since we are trying to learn more about this and how we can change that in our society, this is a game that you can do to kind of counteract that urge to be perfect every single time. And the way they do this is with fun games that require bluffing. Now, if you're not good at bluffing, this is a good way to practice it without actually hurting anything or anyone's feelings for that matter. So there are 2 games mentioned in the packet that you can purchase. One is called The Pretender, and the other one, oh, this is a good name. It's called Cockroach Poker. They're both card games and cost around $15. But here's some free options. Those of you with teens, older youth and teens have probably heard of the game called Among Us. It's a game that you play on your smartphone where you're in a space station and somebody commits a murder and everyone has to try and figure out who the murderer is within a certain time frame. It can be a little intense, so it's meant for older kids. But for people of all ages, there's the card game BS. And most kids probably already know about this game. If you don't know about it, it's basically a game where you have to try and get rid of all your cards. So you're laying cards down, face down on the table, and you're kind of bluffing about how many cards you have of a certain number or king or queen or whatever. And if you get caught, then you have to pick up all the cards in the pile. But of course, if you don't get caught, you get rid of your cards faster. So it's a fun game. You can read more about it in the packet. Our last segment then is from the mailbox. And this is a part where we explore things a little bit beyond our doors in our own neighborhood. And it is focused on dismantling white supremacy culture. There are two ideas mentioned in the packet. The first one is called a commitment to self-love meditation. And in the packet you will see a link to a 15-minute meditation. And that seems like it could be a long time for some of you, especially for kids. So if you have little ones that get a little restless, maybe having coloring materials that they can color while listening, or some other little manipulative to hold stuffed animal or something, that might help. They suggest hanging in there at around 11 minutes where there is self-affirmations, and that is very powerful and positive for children to do with adults. So give that a try. The second one in the packet is called a commitment to the uncomfortable conversation about race. We've all been there. Someone says a little joke, about somebody who is of a different culture, skin color, usually brown or Asian perhaps. And you're feeling a little uncomfortable, but you don't know quite what to say or do, if anything. And so many times we kind of clam up and just let it go by. Sometimes we challenge it. And when it's someone in our own family, that can be pretty hard. Or a good friend, huh? I know I've been there. So in our packet, they suggest checking out the website to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, where there are some resources on how you can engage in conversation about race with other people. And of course, the internet is full of other possibilities on this topic. And now there are several books out there, so feel free to explore those on your own. So that's all for this week. A short and simple week to get you through. Enjoy life a bit more, and hopefully the weather is warming up and we can get outside, see people a little bit more, and that will all brighten our spirits a bit. Until next week, have a wonderful week. Blessed be, and see you then.